Hey everyone, Tyler Dixon, your Caney sports editor, Bryan Edwards, your Caney sports reporter, and Ed Marlowe, the Paducah Sun sports editor. We are here at the Bank CFSP Center in Murray. Just got done with the Ja Morant announcement that we all felt like was pretty inevitable. We all knew it was coming. I know Bryan and I talked the last couple of days that it was coming soon. You two, I know specifically Ed and Blake Sandlin, the Murray State News editor-in-chief who's behind the camera, have seen him maybe more than anyone else. Did you, somebody asked this question earlier, did you think he would have this kind of impact in just 2 years?
I'll let you start.
Last year, McMahon has talked a lot about it. Coach Matt McMahon has talked a lot about how when you put up 12, 6.5,
Right.
how monumentally difficult that was, not just only as a freshman, but statistically, how rare that has been. If I'm not mistaken, I think the last three guys to do it were a couple guys named Jason Kidd.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad
Pretty good.
company. Pretty sure Penny Hardaway also did that.
Okay.
Also pretty good company. So after his freshman season, you expected an uptick in skill, in ability, in numbers, in usage, all of the above. I thought when he left the Chris Paul camp that he was a top 15 pick for sure. When he dunked on Alabama and put up 38, that's when I knew that things were really fixing to start trending much higher than 15.
And I was here earlier in the year for the Missouri State game with watching my buddy Dana Ford from Southern Illinois, and drops a triple-double. And I remember I asked you after the game, is this the best stat line you've at Murray State ever? And I'm pretty sure you said it was.
It's close to it. I think it was, what, 24, 11, and 10?
Yeah,
Something
I mean, obviously a triple-double. Not that many happen here. Only, the ninth in NCAA tournament history he had against Marquette.
He had 4 in his career, and
Which is
3 this season.
Yeah,
which
and
is
that's already
insane.
3 more than anybody's ever had here.
Yeah.
So
We kind of talked about it. Are we shocked that he declared today?
no, not even a little bit.
Okay.
Not even remotely. Honestly, to be quite fair to him, I thought they did their due diligence. I thought they took their time.
Yeah.
Not that it's any of my business. It's not a decision I'm ever going to have to make. I don't have to declare for the New York Times or anything like that. But I think, when you have a guy like Ja Morant, he and his family really took the last, say, 10 to 14 days.
Yeah, that's what he said.
There was a moratorium period. There was a tough loss. They expected to win against Florida State. They did not. And so he had some things to think about. I understand being a top 3 pick in the NBA maybe isn't just an automatic lock.
Right.
But you never know. Maybe, I think there probably was a less than 1% chance that he comes back. But to think that they actually had a mediation and discussed it, weighed out all their options, I think says a lot about he and his family.
And I'll have the video on Twitter of him actually announcing, him kind of talking about it. But like you said, he could have done it after that Florida State loss. He could have went into that press conference, hey, thanks Murray State, but I'm
Could
out.
have done it in the locker room.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have done it immediately after.
You see that all the time.
Oh, yeah, it's very common, actually.
I know, Bryan, you are the youngest of the 3 here. Is he the best college player you've ever seen live? Or the best, I guess, player you've ever seen live, not including NBA?
Well, I was about to say I've seen LeBron play once.
Okay, that's a good one, yeah.
On a consistent basis, he's by and far the best player I've ever seen take a floor. The things that he does, and this is literally just restating things that we've already said before, the things that he does are just absolutely ridiculous. The passes, the way that the speed at which he sees the game, just all that other stuff that makes him such a highly touted prospect for the next level. And it's just, if I could see the game that slow, I mean, I could even have a decent college career if I saw the game at the speed that he saw it at. I think.
I feel like he's able. This is going to sound totally lame.
It's a good thing we're not recording this, so you're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
I've used a lot of science fiction terminology to describe his abilities, but I will
Sidebar,
say,
Ed is a nerd for everyone who's watching at home.
spoiler.
Yes.
But I heard Mike Schmitz from ESPN talk about this too. He's like Neo. And basketball, basketball is the Matrix, and he continues to bend things that should not be bent. That is what I think Ja Morant does. I know that's hyperbolic. I know that's almost outlandish to say, but again, you just touched on it.
Yeah.
It's his passing ability.
Yeah.
Points and rebounds are going to come in the NBA through talented players. That happens. Steals, defense, those kind of things happen with athleticism. It's his passing ability. It's Rajon Rondo-esque, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just the way that he's able to find teammates, both creatively and simply, that make him a special player.
And you look at it. I mean, he averaged 10 assists this year.
He
put
averaged
somebody-
20 points and 10 assists.
Yeah, no one's ever done that.
No one's ever done that.
Now,
Ever.
Now put him on a team with an elite three-point shooter and players that are ready to expect any pass at any time and can knock down shots consistently.
Right.
The Racers did a great job of that this year, but it's not the same as an NBA level talent. Like if you look at a Devin Booker, he's going to knock down 45% of the threes that you throw to him, and if you give it to him wide open, he probably makes 8 of 10.
Yeah.
So
one of the big things that I think has been a consistent beef with me that's really bothered me, and I get it's a fair question, but people have continued to talk about the talent that he's played. Well,
Exactly.
He's in the OVC.
Yeah.
I want you to just go take a look at the numbers against the 4, and I know Marquette's not Power 5. Let's put them in that Power
5
6.
with the 6 team, yeah.
Power, especially with how good they were to start the season.
Right.
Started the season 24-3. Had a guy named Marcus Howard on the team. I
Second
digress.
team All-American.
Right.
Yeah.
You take a look at the 4 games that he played against top-tier talent. Alabama, 38. Auburn, 28. Marquette, triple-double. Florida State,
Yeah, 28.
28.
Yeah, and 2 turnovers in that game, by the way.
And I just, exactly. Five rebounds, 4 assists. I just don't. You take a look at his 4 metered games. Then you take his 2 games against Belmont and his two against Jacksonville State, the 2 best teams in the league, and his 2 against Austin Peay. And I just don't. Against top talent, when he had to rise to the occasion, there's the argument that his worst game of the year came against Belmont when he rolled his ankle, still had 20 points.
And you look at that. You look at
top talent.
Belmont. They beat Lipscomb twice, and Lipscomb's going to play for an NIT championship tonight.
And Belmont won their first NCAA tournament game in school history.
Arguably, in some cases, probably should have beaten Maryland in the first round. A couple things didn't go their way.
And Jacksonville State, the Racers split that team, and they probably should have either played in the CBI or the NIT and just declined postseason opportunity. Great schedule. He played the best when asked.
We're saying this. He dropped, 24 against Auburn, against a Final Four team. A team that, I may be mistaken, but held Kentucky without a 3 in the second half on Sunday?
Yeah.
Very much so.
Road, too.
And on the road.
He did this on the road.
His ability to find ways around whatever the defense throws at him. I mean, McMahon has talked about the whatever number of defenses they faced in non-conference. I think he said it was like 17 defensive schemes. And he still managed every single game to put his numbers up, whether that be moving through a double team that Auburn throws for a lob to Shaq Buchanan in the half.
Right.
It's that kind of stuff that's what makes the NBA gravitate to what he's capable of doing, because there's nobody on the court that can slow him down.
Right. No, I think his toughest defenses may have been Alabama. Yep.
It's a Facebook Live that we don't include TV people, so you're okay.
You guys are on TV later tonight.
Yeah, you've got your airtime. Last question, because I know we all got.
I was going to say he was triple teamed multiple times
Yeah.
against Alabama.
He had 5 people on him against Marquette and found Tevin Brown in the goal.
Last question. We can't decide the NBA lottery.
No,
They have the simulator on ESPN. You can figure out who the heck all the teams are going to be.
The draw's coming out.
It'll be the next couple weeks, right?
Like 2 weeks, yeah. I mean, we'll know.
He will be one of the top 2 players in the NBA draft.
Unless the wrong teams are at the top, I just don't see it. I really just don't. I don't see him going farther than 2.
What?
I really don't.
Bryan and I kind of texted about it earlier, and he said last quote unquote mid-major since Anthony Bennett. I don't consider Anthony Bennett a mid-major. He went to UNLV. I mean, it's not like it's Murray State. What kind of statement would this make if a player from the OVC goes top 3 in the NBA draft?
It'd be the first one, really not top 3, but even top 10 to go since Damian Lillard. When he went 6th, and I think it was 2012. So
Steph went 9th.
Steph went 9th in I think 2010.
Oh, out of
It was right. It was right behind. It was like 3 picks behind Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
I was looking at all this stuff earlier.
No, that's.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be the first non-Power 5 Big East Conference USA American Conference player that's not among those. Maybe primarily the one big bid leagues since Bennett went in 2013 at number 1. So it's. I have no words about how massive this is for the conference.
Go ahead.
My dad asked me about campaign. He goes, "Is this like campaign?" And I said, "No." I'm like, granted, I wasn't here whenever campaign came through Murray State.
Right.
I know you were. I can't speak about the buzz then, but and I tweeted earlier. I'm like #Morant Mania because I have never seen a school. Like I said, granted, I went to a smaller school. I went to SIU for undergrad here. I haven't seen a school wide get behind a person like I've seen this.
Or a team, for that matter.
Or a team. I mean, and like Coach McMahon said, I mean, before, this is a team. I mean, they lost 11 games in 2 years, 4 conference games in 2 years.
And it wasn't because
really
of one,
good conference.
It wasn't because of one guy.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, last year it was 2 seniors in Terrell Miller and Jonathan Stark. Yeah. And Morant even, had a nod to them. He really passed up opportunities to those guys to feed them a championship, and it worked to almost perfection. But you take a look at, you were talking about the history. The only player in OVC history that was ever taken top 3 was Clem the Jim Haskins, I believe in either 68 or 69, late 60s. Clem the Jim also, alongside Jim McDaniels, two Western grads, 2 Western talents, are the only other OVC consensus All-Americans. John Morant's the third. I had somebody ask me earlier today if Fly Williams from Austin P was, according to OVC records, he wasn't, but he may have been in some way. But, I mean, Fly Williams is certainly in that conversation as one of the best to ever play in the OVC. But John Morant's going to go down as one of the best to ever play in the OVC. And we got to see him for 2 years. And crazy enough, you asked this question earlier to a couple fans. He plays like this last year. He's probably not even here this year.
Yeah.
So we got an incredible show for 24 months, and there's more coming.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have chills whenever you said that. We got to see this kid for 2 years. We got to see one of the best point guards in the country.
And if you didn't see him and you live in Western Kentucky, it's your own fault.
Yeah, shame on you. I mean, I had friends
right
from Illinois that would text me and say, "Hey, do I need to go see this guy? Is he legit?" And I'm like,
yes.
You need to be on the road.
Yeah.
You need to be on the way to Murray because, as McMahon said, this is a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
If you lived, and I'm just going to send this is not even like a warning because it's over and done with, but if you, viewer number 1, wanted to see John Morant play and didn't come to Murray because you were too busy at home watching the Cats play or watching U of L play or watching Tennessee play or whoever, that's fine, but you could have come on a Thursday or on a Saturday when there were seats available in the CFSB and gone to UT Martin or gone to Austin P or just in general could have gone to SIU. They were and this is just this season. But if you didn't see this man play over the last 2 years and you're complaining about it now, sorry about it. You had your chance. Now you're going to watch him in the NBA. Enjoy it.
And I know a fun little story. There was a I'll keep breaking up.
Man, I thought that was a good way to end, but I mean, you can just keep on going.
There was a group of fans at the SIU game that traveled to, I don't remember which game it was, but they traveled again to watch him play. And I think it was Carbondale fans that went to SIUE that were just like, we're here to see John Morant. And I'm like, they know how, they've got it right.
They figured it out real quick.
You talked about it. I mean, some fans came in before and had John Morant jerseys.
You don't see
You don't see Murray State jerseys everywhere.
Those jerseys.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no.
They bought the blank jersey that had a number 12 on it and put his name.
I don't know who tweeted it, but whenever you all were in Connecticut, and it might have been Wells, about getting to the stadium and seeing fans with John Morant or Bidwell, like, this is not a regional thing. This is a country thing.
There were people in Connecticut natives. We had a picture in the paper, thankful of the Hartford Courant for sending that to me, but we had a picture, there was like, we're here for jaw dropping, like number 12.
Yeah.
They were Connecticut natives. They had no affiliation with Murray State. They were not alumni. They were specifically just Connecticut fans who liked college basketball. They came to watch the Racers and they came to watch John Morant play. And again, they had their chance and they took their opportunity.
I mean, go ahead.
If you're, the 2 questions I want to bring up, and I'm sure you are going to bring it up before we went on another tangent, but now that he's on his way, the teams that are obviously at the top of the lottery, I mean, the Bulls, the Knicks, obviously the season's not over, but we kind of have an idea of who's going to be there.
The cloud is starting to form.
Who would you think would, I guess, best fit him as a player?
Phoenix.
I agree. I think it's going to be. I think
It
Phoenix.
said Phoenix.
The Phoenix
You
Suns.
guys didn't hear that.
Yeah,
it said Phoenix.
I whispered it. The Phoenix Suns. Yeah. I want him in the pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton and T.J. Warren.
Wide open Devin Booker.
Kelly Oubre, and I haven't even mentioned a wide open Devin Booker, who's had to facilitate all season long with injuries at the point guard position and a rotating door really at the point guard position. They didn't stick with Isaiah Cannon at point for pretty obvious reasons. They wanted to go younger, and that's understandable. Well, I don't know how you get much younger than John Morant, one of the youngest sophomores in the country. They're a freshman older than him. Yeah. So I feel like if Phoenix can win the lottery or win the two, that he's theirs.
I think
they've sent the bus here.
I think it's a fair argument, and this is the only case where I think this is an argument, is if Ja can go number one, and that's if Phoenix takes it. Because if you look at it, you look at their team skeleton.
They could trade down at the two, though.
They could.
Because they know they have the Zion Williamson card.
They don't necessarily need Zion. I mean, anytime that he comes in, he's going to
a force.
Yeah, he's going to fit in whatever team he goes to.
What was the tweet the other day? Yesterday, you retweeted it. Somebody said they texted an NBA scout about if motor or athleticism is the number one thing, that's not your guy.
Right.
And he said he would pick Ja Morant out of 100 times. He said how many times?
100.
100 times.
I think some scouts are obviously going to be divisive on that. Some scouts specifically love the fact that, and Zion's got a great IQ. I mean, not that I've tested him on it recently, but, I mean, he was pretty spectacular in the NCAA tournament.
He was.
And really, honestly, there's a great article on The Ringer. Coach K, if you're a Duke fan, plug your ears, didn't utilize Zion Williamson in the right way. He gets in the NBA, they're not going to make those kind of mistakes.
But
Same with the John Morant.
It's
they're
also
not going to make
team
those
need.
mistakes. Right.
I mean, if you
I said the same thing.
If you get that number one pick and you have a really good point guard, you're like, hey, well, let's shift to Ja, or you don't have a good four. Hey, man, let's get Zion. I mean, you're not going to lose.
I'll tell you,
drafting Zion Williamson or
no,
John
not
Morant.
at all. A quiet, and that's the better point. I think you do not lose by taking either one. You might have a fan base angry that you didn't take one or the other, but you do not lose taking either one of those
100%.
guys. What I was going to say, a quiet team that I think people should be watching. I would not be surprised at all if the Cleveland Cavaliers snuck in as the two and took Morant and put him alongside Colin Sexton.
I actually read a fun article that talked about the Mavericks, too.
Yeah.
Putting him next to Luka Doncic.
Oh, that'd be sick.
And, I mean, they have that other fellow over there now.
Well, let's be careful. Kristaps Porzingis might be in a little bit of trouble.
That's true. Maybe in a little bit of...
But to be fair, him next to Luka Doncic would be...
Rookie of the year, by the way. Book it. Trae Young, who?
Absolutely ridiculous.
Done deal.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I just think there's more than one team that's going to be interested in John's services. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from everyone.
We're also forgetting Ben Simmons Part 2 for Rookie of the Year.
That's true.
We're forgetting about the second coming of the Rookie of the Year, Ben Simmons.
Well, oh, yeah.
I appreciate both of y'all. I'm not going to say appreciate Bryan for coming on because you guys are going to see him a lot more. I appreciate Ed taking some time to talk with us.
No problem.
Again, I'll post the announcement, I guess, on Twitter. But thanks everyone for following. I want to do this again. I'm assuming you're going to go to the draft, right?
I'm going to try to canoe up there.
Well, you
want to give it a shot.
Well, I know Bryan and I are going to maybe go on live again during the draft, talk about it a little bit again. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Again, shout out to Blake Salen behind the camera. I feel like I lost him a few times. I thought he was going to doze off.
Thanks, Blake.
But yeah, Blake, you're the best. You're just good, buddy. But all right, thank you all. Thanks for watching.